Like-minded people always have a way of finding each other. No matter where in the world you are, you can always find someone as crazy as you. And sometimes, just sometimes, it could be someone you have known for a short while who snores beside you in a small campus dorm. The Arcane Trouveurs, Into the Abyss, Chapter 6, Birds of a Feather, written and performed by Brett Walker. Buongiorno from Florence, or Firenze, as the Italians call it. Honestly, I never knew that was the name of this city in Italian. Guess I did my learning for today. Time for a pizza break. Today marks our first day in Italy, researching at the University of Florence. Dr. Boyd has guest lectured here many times over his career and was able to get us access to the school's medical library and a private tour of the Museum of Pathological Medicine. We students are deeply appreciative of all the strings you had to pull to make this possible. Although, I'm not too sure about that last one. Last time I went to a museum of pathology or medicine was when I visited Philadelphia. They had jars of skin, weird specimens, and vials. Wasn't a fan. There's a reason behind why I became a historian and not a doctor. A weak constitution for number one. And more importantly, the fact my mom's family owns most of North America's most successful auction houses. Meaning my sister and I are destined to become the fast-speaking providers of old junk. Well, our job will be to make sure the junk isn't junk. Anywho, the groups have been rearranged as per Dr. Cole's instructions. Given that Dr. Admonson is still out with a horrible case of the flu, after 2 weeks now, you would think she starts to show signs of recovery. William and I are to be paired with Eleanor and Dr. Cole for obvious reasons. Serena, Alden, and Carl will be with Dr. Boyd. Hopefully this new arrangement gives the three of us time to decipher this infernal book. Also, I hope Dr. Admonson recovers from this flu soon. The idea that all of this may be interconnected is enough to get me more paranoid about her condition. Something has been bugging me ever since this whole thing began. Why the masks? A quick internet search will tell you that these masks were used by doctors who would treat victims of the bubonic plague. They believed the plague was spread by noxious air. A bird-shaped mask was created to allow doctors to stuff herbs into the beak. They believed these herbs would protect them from the polluted, plague-infested air. But there's something missing. Oh, here we go. Origins of the Plague Doctor mask. The garments worn by plague doctors have been credited to Charles Delorme. Oh, great. A French guy. We were just in France, motherfucker. The garments consisted of a protective suit made of lightly waxed fabrics, the mask I am researching, unknown protective herbs. Cool, nothing helpful. While popular depictions of this costume are associated with English doctors fighting the bubonic plague, the plague doctor suit first originated in Napoli in 1630. Wait, Napoli? So we're here, We're in the birthplace, okay, well, a lot north of the birthplace of these masks. Fuck! That means the society may have started here in Italy. The Arcane Trouveurs may have been founded by Charles de Lorne while he was researching the plague while it ravaged the northern parts of the country. I need to tell Will and Elle this. While the others are off studying about the Italian plague, I snuck off to the main library and I found some books on our dear friend Charles. So far, he's a pretty interesting guy. He promoted the use of spas and mineral baths as a way to rejuvenate oneself and feel young again. He worked for the Medici family here in Italy. He also worked for 3 French kings and his father, who is also a doctor who worked on medical reform. All in all, this guy seems like he was primed to become a doctor and build off his father's success. I have some digital copies of his treatises, but nothing seems to line up with Starbook. So far, all I know is that the book lists 4 names which are believed to be these elder gods. The book refers to these elder gods as the Great Old Ones, or Vetera Reconjunturos Magni, in Latin. Eleanor says that all plague-related disasters and other pandemics have the name Kisagtha written next to them. But then, if you look at the supposed locations, the book has like 15 different places listed, all of which are inconclusive because no one seems to come back. So I don't know if there are 15 shrines or just 15 misfortunes, and it's this lack of clarity that is really driving me up the fucking wall. What do you mean, it's in French? No Latin, like your annoying hand manual? Yes, while I agree, good knowledge must be shared, why do you have a copy of a treatise by Charles de Spade? Yes, I'll read it. And what do you mean by await further instructions? You know this cryptic BS may have worked on your undergrads, making them believe that parts of history are just mysteries waiting to be solved, but this is really getting annoying. He's walking away. You know, I never realized how annoying his whole mysterious prof that knows so much vibe is. Charles de Lorne. Trouver l'introuvable. Le mystère de l'arcane. Charles, you sneaky little boy. You found something all those years ago, and you decided to write a secret little treatise on it for your club. You sly devil. It's been 2 days since my run-in with Dr. Cole in the library. The document he handed me is exactly what I thought it would be. The treatise outlines some of the things we have already decoded in Starbook. It details discoveries he made while studying the bubonic plague. People were having visions of demons, and they were sighting a new breed of rat that blends into the darkness and lingers in shadows. People were having visions of demons and sightings of a new breed of rat that blended into the darkness and lingers in the shadows near dying bodies. What he found the most interesting was the fact people reported the same demon. They reported that, god damn it! They reported the same writhing mass of tentacles reaching out from the darkness to engulf the entire world. I'm gonna do this later. Currently, Will, Eleanor, and I are in Piazza della Signoria. Dr. Cole left each one of us a note saying to meet at midnight and to bring our masks. Kind of sounds like this eyes wide shut type of situation, and I'm not into that. What Charles DeLorme found is interesting. These demons people reported seeing, he calls them les vieux dieux de l'Arcane, the old gods of the Arcane. It was from this treatise that the Arcane Trouveurs were born. The society was to be funded by the Medici family for as long as possible. They wanted to investigate these claims of arcane gods. They wanted to squash any rumor of the existence of a pagan god that could rival the God of Abraham. You know, plazas in the dead of night are really fucking creepy. Feels like any one of these statues could come to life at any second and they'll be locked in a staring match to the death. You know, something like out of a British sci-fi show. Either way, guess I'm gonna just kick around until I know what to do. Kinda hard for 3 foreigners to not look suspicious at midnight in the middle of a plaza. Currently, Will and Elle are off to the side talking. I hope they get along. Wait a minute. Elle has embarrassing stories of me from childhood. You know what? They don't need to get along. I'm stopping this now. Oh, great. You're probably here to collect us. Did you have to wear the mask in public? The masked stranger led us to a nearby alleyway. He led us to an unmarked door at the bottom of a cracked stone staircase. I had briefly hoped we were being taken to one of those weird underground concept bars. You know, the ones that keep popping up in places like New York City, have the audacity to charge you a $30 cover fee, place an annoying sticker over your phone camera, and then proceed to blast you with the most boring EDM music all night, and they hope that their overpriced watered-down drinks somehow get you drunk enough to ignore the scam you've walked into. This was not that bar. The only thing that bar and this place had in common was the fact we couldn't use our phones. Before we entered the stark darkness of this building, we were told to wear our masks until otherwise instructed. My first step into the darkness was like being engulfed by shadows itself. I was completely blind to the world around me. I could hear the sound of the street fade into white noise as the door closed behind us. The stranger tapped the side of our masks and activated the most rudimentary night vision function possible. I mean, it was enough for us to see a few feet ahead of us, but it was nothing compared to most equipment available for purchase at any hunting store. In the darkness, we could see 5 figures standing at the edge of a circle. The circle had a star drawn into it. This one was more elaborate, each line precisely calculated and meticulously drawn in chalk. If I have learned anything from horror movies, it's that this is where I find out magic's real and we're walking into a seal that's gonna bind us to a demon or something. But I'm still here, so I guess the verdict is out if magic is real or not. Either way, on the left, there was a short, portly gentleman. Even with the mask on, he didn't appear threatening. His round shape made him appear more comical than menacing. Next to him was the woman from France. She stood with her arms crossed, and though her face was covered, I could feel her cold blue eyes staring at us. It was almost as if she was unsure we should even be there. Next to her was Dr. Cole and an older gentleman. They were both fashionably dressed, and they stood in the darkness kind of like villains, awaiting for the dashing spy to fall into their trap. The 5th person was a tall, lanky woman whose hunched posture and rounded shoulders showed her age. Her cane would occasionally tap against the wooden floor as she readjusted her stance. The tapping of wood on wood echoed like thunder in the night. Our guide then took his place next to her, his rigid military posture appearing twice as stiff when compared to his elderly neighbor. The man in the center spoke. Nope, not an Italian accent, not doing this. Rarely has an initiate unintentionally dragged additional recruits into our ranks. But Andrew has told us of your ability to find capable individuals to join you on your quest for knowledge. By now you have glimpsed into the world we live. Should you wish to leave it, do so now. For once you take the oath of an Arcane Trouveur, you will be bound to our organization for life. Oh, now I'm understanding the circle. I looked to Will and Eleanor to see what their answers would be. I was expecting them to bolt for the door and leave me, but they stayed. Be it for me or their own reasons, they stayed behind, and they took the oath. After the oath, the portly gentleman spoke of how the order was founded by Charles de Lorne in an attempt to uncover the truths about this world. Over the centuries, doctors, historians, students, antiquarians, even old people with way too much time and money committed themselves to finding and fighting that which lies in the dark. The elder gods are imprisoned somewhere on this earth. Every day, they are vying for their freedom in order to strengthen their power over our world. Dr. Cole congratulated Will and I on surviving our initial rodent encounter in London. We were warned to be wary of the shadows as we move forward. The Elder Ones are beings of pure chaos. They care little about the consequences of their actions. The world was created from their chaos, and they do not care if it is destroyed by it. It is our job to make sure that these gods are kept in check as a means of preserving life on Earth. Fuck, what time is it? God damn, it's 2 a.m. We were also instructed on the importance of the masks, but fuck it, I'm gonna do this later. But what was stressed was leaving behind la trace introuvable, the untraceable trace. This is a trail of breadcrumbs so that the members of the society can learn from you and not doom themselves to repeat your mistakes should you just vanish. I wonder how this would work, but maybe I can put these recordings on a cassette tape. That would be annoying enough. Hey, did you find a place that was open this late? I'm starved. So, I guess consider these recordings my trail. If you're listening to this, then that means you're following in my footsteps, either to uncover the truths about the connection of all of life's great mysteries, or just because I'm awesome, and maybe I deserve a biography about my life. There are creatures that live in the shadows. They are waiting, and they are ready to strike. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Arcane Trouveurs. If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe and stay up to date on all the episodes we release this fall. And hey, thanks.